People have it a lot harder than we believe. Out of curiosity, um, and the reason why I asked that is because growing up, I had a lot of people ask me, "Are you confused?" And I'd be like, literally, "Are you confused?" And I'd be like, "Confused about what?" Well, your mom's black and your dad's white. I mean, I'm sorry, your mom is white and your dad is black. So are you confused? And I'd be like, no, I'm a person. And I just didn't understand. I had white friends and I had black friends. Did I act differently when I was around them? Well, yeah, of course, depending on the circumstances, but you do that at work. You act differently around your friends than you do with the people at work. So, hey, Labardic, sorry that we're talking about if people who are of mixed races are confused. So, no, I don't think that I had it any harder. I think that, if anything, I don't know. I didn't have it any harder than a black person, and I don't think I had it any harder than a white person. I think that a lot of times, um, I used to try to prove myself, but I don't think it was due to my race. I think it was just a lot because I was the oldest child, and I always had to take the burden on for everybody else. But I don't think that it was had anything to do with my color. I mean, like for instance, I was in a hip hop urban dance group. Like I did. We actually went to the Apollo. Kelkev. No, I don't think that we have it harder than a white person. He was talking about than a black person. I believe that's what he was talking about. And I'll answer your question in a second, Armani. So we did hip hop. I was in a group that actually did hip hop dancing. We went to the Apollo, and danced there. But I was also in drama club who, in drama club, there was like me and maybe one other person that I convinced to come try out with me that used to be in drama club. So I kind of did both sides of the spectrum. Do I think that I was accepted more by one race than the other? That I would say yes. I was definitely accepted more by the white race than I was the black race. And I think a lot of times because they felt like I had to prove myself to them. Did it make it any harder? Not for me. And it may just be because of the type of person I am, because I really don't care what it is that you think about me. If you think that I act too white, then oh well, so be it. It's just the person I am. If my white friends thought that I acted too ghetto or, whatever, it didn't matter. That was the person I am. The way that I am is how I always am. So I don't but I did definitely feel like I had to prove myself. A little bit more to the black race than I did to the white race. But I mean, I have friends on both sides of the spectrum, even today. Um, Yogi Fish, but were you expected as white or as mixed? No, actually, growing up, I think it really offended me. Growing up, that I wasn't able to check off that I was biracial on like a lot of surveys. Now that's a little bit more common where you can check off white, black, you can check off other. I don't like to be classified as other, but if there's no other choice, like if it's just you classify yourself as white, you classify yourself as black, you classify yourself as Asian, Hispanic, whatever, and then the only other box there is other, then I check off other because I want to be able to check off both boxes. And that used to really be offending to me because I didn't, and not that I didn't think I was black, but I always felt like, but damn, that's just like writing my mother right out the picture. You know what I mean? Granted, if we were back in the slave days, I'd still be a slave. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not Halle Berry and can pass off as queen and be white. My youngest sister probably can, but I can't. Tailspin, I have a funny story about that in a minute. But I don't like to, if people ask me what am I tell them that I'm biracial. I don't even say mulatto. I don't say I'm mulatto. I don't say I'm mixed. I just say that I'm biracial. My mom is white and my dad is black. Because they're both my parents and they both get credit for the person it is that I am. Um, Yogi Fish, you have lost your family because of your complexion. Um, you mean your one side of your family? Is he playing with me? Tails said mulatto is
Tails.
offensive. A lot of people think that mulatto is offensive. I would agree with him. There was somebody that actually screamed one time because they called him mulatto. Um,
Oh, really? The term mulatto is offensive?
yeah, yeah. The term
Really?
it's not offensive to me, but there are biracial people who do not like to be called
I
mulatto.
did not know that.
Yeah, because it's like a mutt. It's kind of like that's what you think of them as. I used to hate Yo, the one thing I used to hate being called was
Oh, it's Spanish for mule.
I used to hate being called a mutt, an Oreo. Yo, that shit used to bother the shit out of me.
Oreo.
I hated being called an Oreo. It was not cool.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think that I've lost family because of my race. I think, one thing that I used to always ask my mom was how did my grandfather deal with the fact, because I was born in the 70s. So I used to ask, like, how did your family deal with the fact that you were dating a black man? And she was like, she grew up in the suburban town. She grew up in Bethlehem. So it's very suburban, no black people out there to this day, I don't think.
Very few.
And so she started dating this black man and she was in love. And that's what that's what she said. She said, you know what? Nobody cared because I was in love and I loved your father and my father took him in as his son and, kind of, kind of treated him like he was his son. So it's my father's fault that they didn't stay together. I just like to put that out there. But my daddy's trying to work his way back in. You ain't heard that from me. But he's trying. He's trying. But the good thing is that even after everything that my family has been through, we all still get along. My father will still come over for family dinners. He still comes over and visits the kids. His grandchildren are his life, and even my father's side of the family. I think that there was one uncle, Armani, I won't mention his name on here, but there was one uncle my mom used to tell me really had a big problem with the fact that my father was dating a white woman. I mean, he had a huge problem with it. And over the course of years had learned to really just accept her. And actually they ended up working together and became really, really good friends in the end. So, I think that it kind of came on both sides. He used to say to her all the time, well, your people did this to my people and your people did this to my people. And my mother was like, yo, I was born in 68 or 58. I don't know what the hell you talking about how I did this to your people because I wasn't around. You know what I mean? And you can't blame the white man for everything that happened before. So, Annabelle, I think that you may be right that people that have, I'd like to clarify that first of all, everybody has a prejudice against somebody, but I think that you're right. The things that you point out that you don't like about certain people are probably the things that you don't like about yourself. And mentioning that, did you hear that guy got convicted, that people were convicted because there was a woman who wanted to join the Ku Klux Klan. I didn't mean to get on the whole racial topic right now, but it's just, something that I thought about. This woman went to go join the Ku Klux Klan and actually went to the meeting, and when she got there, decided that she did not want to join it. She's like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to do this. And they killed her. Did you hear about that, Fred?
What was it?
This woman went to a Ku Klux Klan meeting because she was thinking about joining the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
She said, no, I don't want to do it. She left, and they killed her. They killed her like how they did in Mississippi Burning.
Yeah.
Like found her over on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And it was a huge cover-up. The sheriff, everybody was involved in it.
Yeah,
everybody.
The good old boys club.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But they just convicted him, I think. I don't know if it's that they didn't like their fashion sense. But, their fashion sense is actually an accepted form of practice in other parts of the world. I don't know if you guys saw the Da Vinci Code, but that was one of the things that Tom Hanks was pointing out, was that we look at symbols and we immediately think of something and then it could be something else. I think it was like the Roman Catholic something was, they used the hoods.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. I see hoods and I'm running. White, black, red. I see a hood and I'm running. Yeah. Just so you know. Hey guys, Jules is in the room. I saw that you just called me, but I really couldn't talk. I'm sorry. Because you see, I got so many people in the room and we're actually having great conversation.